Mephibosheth, the shadow at the king's table. He had learned early that life could change in a single breath. One moment, he was a prince, cradled in the arms of a royal household. The next, he was a broken child lying in the dust, his legs twisted beneath him, the screams of his nurse still ringing in his ears as she fled with him from news of slaughter and ruin. Saul was dead. Jonathan was dead, and Mephibosheth would never walk again. They hid him in Lo-debar, a land of no pasture, no promise, no future. There he grew crippled in body, and slowly, quietly, in spirit. He listened to the stories of his grandfather Saul, of his father Jonathan, of crowns and battles and honor. He listened and he remembered. The world had forgotten him, but he had not forgotten the world, the king's invitation. When the messengers of David came, Mephibosheth expected chains. He was carried into Jerusalem, every eye upon him, every whisper a reminder. This is Saul's blood. He bowed low, face to the stone, waiting for judgment. But David spoke kindness. I will surely show you mercy for Jonathan, your father's sake. Mercy. The word struck him harder than any sword could have. David restored Saul's lands to him. David gave him servants. David set him at the royal table and said, You shall eat here always, like one of my sons. So Mephibosheth ate at the king's table. He watched David laugh with his sons. He listened to counsel, to war plans, to whispers of the kingdom's future. He saw the throne so close he could almost touch it. And somewhere deep inside, where gratitude and grief warred with one another, a dangerous thought took root. That throne was once my grandfather's. The quiet fire. Outwardly, Mephibosheth was humble. He bowed. He spoke softly. He thanked David often. But at night, when the palace slept, he lay awake. He thought of Saul, tall and fierce. He thought of Jonathan, noble and beloved. He thought of himself hidden, broken, forgotten, and he wondered, was this kindness or was it a cage? Ziba, his servant, noticed the change. Ziba was a man with sharp eyes and a sharper mind. He saw how Mephibosheth lingered when the crown passed by. He heard the questions, lightly asked, about the loyalty of the tribes. He sensed the unrest beneath the lame prince's calm exterior. Ziba smiled and bowed and listened. Absalom's rebellion. Then Absalom rose. The city trembled as word spread. The king's own son had stolen the hearts of Israel. David fled Jerusalem in shame and haste. Chaos ruled the streets. Loyalties shifted like sand. And Mephibosheth felt something awaken inside him. If David fell, if Absalom failed, who remained of royal blood? The house of Saul. Him. In the confusion, he called for his donkey, but Ziba was already there, already moving, already deciding. Mephibosheth spoke of waiting, of watching, of seeing what the Lord might do. But Ziba heard ambition, and Ziba chose opportunity. He left his master behind. Ziba loaded the donkeys with bread, raisins, wine, and fruit, and rode hard after David. When the king saw him, weary and betrayed, Ziba bowed low and spoke the lie that would seal Mephibosheth's fate. Behold, he remains in Jerusalem. For, he said, Today the house of Israel will restore to me the kingdom of my father. The words were poison, and they worked. David, wounded and exhausted, believed him. All that belongs to Mephibosheth is now yours, the king said. And with a single sentence, Mephibosheth lost everything. The fall. Back in Jerusalem, Mephibosheth waited. He waited for word. He waited for a crown. He waited for history to turn in his favor. But history did not come. Instead, Absalom fell, David returned, and Mephibosheth remained unkempt, grieving, hollow-eyed. He had not trimmed his beard. He had not washed his clothes. He had not celebrated. Whether out of loyalty, regret, or despair, no one could fully tell. When he was finally brought before David, he fell again at the king's feet. My lord the king, my servant deceived me, he said. I said, saddle a donkey for me, that I may go with the king, but he slandered your servant. David listened. The truth was tangled. The damage was done. The king divided the land. Half to Ziba, half to Mephibosheth. Justice, perhaps, but not restoration. Mephibosheth felt the weight of it settle on him like dust. The throne he had dared to imagine was gone. The inheritance of Saul was broken. The servant had outplayed the master. The dream had cost him everything. And in that moment, the fire inside him died. "Let him take it all," Mephibosheth said quietly, "since my lord the king has come safely home." The man at the table. He returned to the king's table, but he was no longer the same. Once, he had eaten there with secret longing. Now he ate with empty hands and a guarded heart. He had touched ambition and it had burned him. He had dreamed of a crown and lost even his dignity. He was still a son at